Hello. Good evening to you. How are you? Very, very good to be with you this evening. I've just about almost not made it. It's been like a mad 15 minutes where all the IT wasn't working. As you can see, no green screen, even though it was working literally 10 minutes ago before I came back upstairs after having my tea. I have no idea why. Technology, it's great when it works. And when it isn't, I want to... State management. I'm going to do all of that state management. So, but never mind. We are going to plow on regardless because we've got a fantastic show for you this evening. We've got a fantastic guest. We've got some great content. We've got amazing giveaways. It's going to be a really, really good evening. So let me just see who we have with us here this evening. Let me just scroll back to the top. Okie dokie. We have got Wendy. Hello, Wendy from Hampshire. Luke from Bournemouth. We've got there Luke. Hello, Luke. Hello, Wendy. We've got Tarina. Hello from West Sussex. Kate from Devon. Cadence, if I've said that right. Probably said it wrong. Apologies already. From Leicestershire. We've got Alex from Stainforth. Not sure how I pronounce that. Suran from Sutton Weaver. Hello, Suran. Good to speak to you again. So we got Jess from Sheffield. Daniel, hello, all the way from sunny France. Our guest is from France as well tonight, so very, very exciting. We've got Gillian from Wales. Joanna, I don't know where Joanna's from. Who knows where Joanna's from? She's calling from planet Earth. Pella from Wiltshire. Hello, Wiltshire. Well, I lived for a long, long time. Jan Browns from Petersfield. And Shelley, and I know that Shelley lives in London. Lovely to have you all with us this evening. It really, really is good. And I hope wherever you're listening or catching up on the video later, even perhaps, that you've not been too much affected by the floods. You've not been washed away. Down here, we had some extraordinary flooding. I mean, you know, the church wall was knocked over, all down at the end of the lane, completely like a lake. Absolutely extraordinary. But they're sort of trying to pump it all out now and get things back to normal. Michelle Russell, hello, Michelle Russell as well. Good to have you with us as well. Now then, we've got some great prizes for you this evening, giveaways. And so let me just get up. We want, what do we want to do? We want to do hashtag BIG. So make sure if you want to be in for the draw this evening, on our giveaway, it's hashtag BIG. Now we've got two big things to give away. Yes, from sunny France. Hello, Daniel from sunny France. Hopefully you're not being washed away and you are having a sunny time, whereas we are literally been washed away. But we're still here. Two things. So if you're a non-NLP coach person, and I never can remember who's who on these things, we've got a stack of books to give away. Life Coaching and Introduction, Create the Life You Want, NLP Metaphorically, Think and Grow Rich, and Living a Purposeful Life. All of those, plus the Intro to NLP course, a big swag to give away. But if you are an NLP practitioner and or coach, we've got a very exciting gift to give away, a brand new course, super duper. And we're going to talk more about it today. So hold on to your hats because we're going to get to that in a second. But if you want to be in with a chance, it's hashtag BIG in the box. Now, one other thing, all these announcements before we even make a start, is we're also being broadcast live across the universe this evening. We're doing a bit of an open house because of the very special nature of what we're doing this evening. So we're going out on Facebook. We're also going out on LinkedIn, and we're also going out on YouTube. Now, if you're watching in any of those platforms and I don't get to see your comments, I'm sorry about that, but the simplest thing to do is to go to the website very, very quickly, UKCPD.co.uk, click on Be Inspired Group, and then join the link that's in the group correspondence. That's as simple as that. But we will try. It works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know why. It's just one of those things. All right, let's make a start with Gillian. Hello, Alex. Hello, Daniel. Oh, we've said hello to all these people. I don't think there's anybody else there that I haven't missed. If I have, I do apologize. So let's just get on going with what we've got for you today, episode 67. So we have been doing more in 24. Now, it seems to me, this is worth reminding us, it's just over, would you believe, 13 months ago we started this. No, yeah, 13 months ago. We started in October in 2023. We're now in November. So we've done a complete cycle, and we're now getting ready, of course, for next year. Now, our special guest this evening is kind of linked to that, but especially if you are interested in starting a business. It doesn't have to be coaching or NLP. It could be anything, maybe a masseur business or a nail business or a beauty business, or maybe a hairdresser's. It could be anything that you're the boss and it's your business. I guess some of these ideas would work in a sort of a bigger team as well. Who knows? But that's kind of what we're going to be focusing on. And it's around the Coaches Growth Club, and then the course that we're going to be giving away, roll of drums, fireworks, 6 marching bands, how to start an online coaching business. Brand new 6-module training course put together by our very own super duper marketing guru, Steve Gillson. And he'll be joining us in a minute. Now, we've been in the last few months all through, November, we've been talking about, planning for the future. Now is the time to plan for next year. Don't wait till January. If you get to January, it's too late. November, that's the time. This is the time to set your goals, to think about what do I want to have happen for me, for my family, maybe for my business, maybe for my team, who knows? What is it that I really want? Now is the time. And we're almost running out of month. Because you know what happens when you get into the first week of December? The craziness starts of Christmas and New Year and all that kind of stuff. And then every other plans run out the window. So now is the time. Now is the time. And to help us do that, we've got this idea. We're getting ready to thrive in 2025. And we've been doing this large format group coaching project all through the month. And I hope you've all been watching those videos and listening to those podcasts. It's been very, very exciting. And, the general public, all those people who are not members of the Be Inspired group, have been emailing in how much they've enjoyed it. And it's been really, really powerful. So as I've said, I think a couple of weeks ago now, we're going to be integrating this process or this idea, this concept into the Be Inspired group. And it's going to be a special thing happening on Wednesdays, but more about that in the next couple of weeks. Now, here's a little thing for you to think about when we're thinking about the future. Only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can actually go. So it's only by stepping out, not just saying, well, it might go wrong, or oh, it might not work out, or I'm not good enough. It's only getting off the couch and getting on and doing it. We find out what's the limit. As I often say to my clients, you cannot possibly know the limits of your abilities until you reach them. And I'll guarantee nobody on this call this evening has reached the limit of their capabilities. Now, this is an interesting guy. I'm even going to try and say this guy's name, but I saw it today and I thought it was really, really useful. If you don't build your dream, guess what? Someone else will hire you to help them build theirs. So if you're not working hard, this is kind of the Jim Rohn thing. Jim Rohn, my mentor, if you're not working hard on your own dream, your own goal, your own future, chances are you're working on somebody else's. So that's worth thinking about. Now, over the last few weeks, we've looked at lots and lots of different ways of setting goals and models and ideas about well-formed futures, well-formed outcomes, goals, all of that stuff. I think last time we talked about the outcomes model. We've used the coaching wheel to help us. We used the SMARTS model a couple of times, especially on the podcast. And again, thanks for all the feedback that we've had back on that. And we use the notion of the well-formed futures, and especially the 4 Ds of well-formed futures: clarity in destination. Going to come on to clarity in a second. Being clear about our motivating desire. What is that? What's that all about? And then a real-world design of a strategy, so we really, really move forward. And then practical and flexible deployment of that strategy. And in a way, what we're going to be talking about tonight with the Coaches Growth Club and how to start an online business, this all came from you lot, you college members and students who've over the last 25 years have kind of kept on and on and on. Oh, Tony, we need more help to build our business. We need more help. I'm thinking, yeah, but that's not my thing. But then, as luck would have it, the universe sent us the right person. And so when I'm thinking about all of these things, smarts and wheels and outcomes and all of these other things, this is about building your dream. So if it is your dream to build your future business, then guess what? This is going to be a great opportunity for you to be able to do that. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to have Steve working with us on this particular project. Who's joined us now? Ian Walker. Hello, Ian Walker. Good, lovely to have you with us as well. Fantastic days. And the growth model, this is one of the new things we're going to be introducing as part of the beginning process as we work as a group of people on that journey about developing a business. And I'll be part of this too, because I want to grow my practice, grow the college, all of those kind of things. So we'll be a big peer group. So thinking about this growth model, GROWTH, the first thing is, gaining clarity about the goal. Now, I'm not going to go through this in great detail this evening because guess what? We won't have time because I want to get to Steve. But I thought I'll give you a little flavor. So G is for getting clarity of the goal. Goal. What is the goal? We're going to have a deep dive and exploration. We've got loads of tools and models we're going to be exploring with you. Now, here's the exciting thing about this model. This was developed in conjunction with Dougal and his business, working with his clients, they're all business development people, all internet gurus, and they've all got these online, nothing to do with coaching and NLP practice or anything like that. It's all to do with tech stuff. I mean, it's all beyond me. I have no idea. But this is the model we developed to help him work with and coach through his clients. So we've adapted it a little bit. So it's about gaining real clarity on the goal and then understanding what the reality is, what the system is really going on, and what needs to change, and what resources do you have, and what resources could you get from somewhere else. Then it's the operations using the triple S philosophy. Ooh, what's that? He says. We're going to focus on developing the strategy that will enable you to get what you want for your business. And now I'm going to just read it because I got it wrong earlier today. The 3 S is simplicity of message, so who you're speaking to, simplicity of operations, the processes that you're going to put into your business and how you operate, and then the systems, the tools, the software that you might want to be using to help you move your practice forwards. Then it's the what, when, and the who, implementing the strategy and setting key measurements and who's going to help you and who could be part of your team. I'm going to make a suggestion. All of you will be part of the team. It will be a peer group going through the process. Then timing, guess what? This is about setting timing, about when you're going to do things, when they're going to happen, and so on, just like you would in any well-formed outcome. And then it's the hustle part, taking action and having accountability partners with each other as we work our way through the entire process. So I'm very, very excited. And that's all part of what we're going to be presenting on this program. Now, Steve's going to talk more about that in a second, and I'll introduce him. But a couple of more things for you to sort of get the little juices flowing in your head. The best way to succeed is to have a specific intent. I've talked many, many times about intentionality when it comes to setting goals. So we've got to have very specific intent, a clear vision, a plan of action, and the ability to maintain, and this is the word, clarity. Clarity. Those are the 4 pillars of success. It never fails. The journey to fulfillment becomes less scary once there is clarity of purpose. Now, I put this one in deliberately because it can seem, well, Tony, you're acting a big lot, we're planning a big thing to happen in 2025. But if it's crystal clear what you really want, actually, it's not scary anymore, because once you're clear, you think, oh, that's my motivation. That's the real reason why I want to do this. It becomes so much easier. And then finally, my one-time sort of guru, I suppose, Brian Tracy, he talks about this a lot in his work. Lack of clarity is probably responsible for frustration and underachievement than any other single factor. That's why we say success is goals and everything else is commentary. People with clear written, how many times have you heard me say this, written goals accomplish far more in a shorter period of time than people without them could ever imagine. This is true everywhere and under all circumstances. So it includes everybody here. And that's the point. And I really do believe that has worked for me and it's worked for my clients, and I know it can work for you. So, okay, so that brings us to the end of this particular presentation. So let me just get rid of that. Let me just check, see if we've had anybody else join us. We've had Ian, Wendy. I've said hello to Wendy already, so that's fine. I don't think there's anybody I've missed. Okay, Joanna. Hello, Joanna. Joanna, where in the world are you? You're not telling us where you are. Only everybody else said where you are. So make sure you let us know. Okay, so roll of drums, people. I'm now going to introduce to you young Steve. And here we go. Let's see if this works. It's working. Steve, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you doing, Tony?
I'm good. I'm very, very excited and slightly sweating like a crazy person. Nothing was working. And for those of you who just joined us, of course, Steve was on the call with me earlier. And he said, "It's not working." Absolutely bonkers. But we'll survive with the green screen and everything Resistance creates a lack of clarity, Tony. Thank you for that, Ian. And Joanna's saying originally from Manchester, but now in the East Midlands. Coolio. So, Steve, for those who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself rather than me giving up some spiel that might embarrass you?
Okay. Well, first off, thanks very much for having me. And hello, everyone. Nice to see you all, kind of, in the name only. Where to start? I suppose, so my background is in sales and marketing in the latter stages of my career. I kind of learned the hard way, not so much through university, more from starting off by pushing a broom and ended up in the boardroom. And so on that journey, I've learned on the job, if you like. And then a big sort of change happened to me about 5 years ago when just around the time of just pre-Brexit. So my wife is French, and as Tony alluded to, I'm now living in France. So I'm kind of giving away the punchline. But so I got to that sort of pinnacle of where I wanted to be, and then started to question really where I wanted to go in the sort of third act of my life, and spending too much time away from the kids, etc. So I had been getting more and more into the digital marketing space through my current work, but also started to set up a sort of a little sideline project, a charity-based project, which kind of forced me to have to create a website. And the long and short of it was, we ended up moving to France, and I had to sort of start from scratch because communication was really my primary skill within what I did, and a lot of the business things that I'd learned and sort of progressed through, it didn't really translate so well into French culture or the French employment. So I kind of wanted this challenge, right? So I wanted to work for myself, and I wanted to learn a new skill. So I really got further and further into digital marketing. One thing led to another, and I started to set up a business totally in French, which was, in retrospect, a step too far. But that did lead to me ended up being invited to teach at the university. So I now teach digital marketing and marketing at university, Excelia Business School in Paris and in La Rochelle, which has helped really broaden and deepen my knowledge of the space. And then it's also led me to Tony. So I wanted to do some voluntary work. That's how I found Tony in the college, learned about coaching, and now I've kind of brought those two things together. So the marketing and mindset, which is why you see that mindset to marketing, I realized actually I can teach a lot of people about the fundamentals of marketing and how to create a digital marketing plan. But often there's also a need to overcome that barrier, particularly when you're a self-branded business or you're a solopreneur, is about actually putting yourself out there. So what I now do is I focus on that element as well as all the other stuff. So still do all the web design, still do all the teaching of the fundamentals, but also this notion of getting over the mindset barrier to go and make your business successful.
Yeah. And I have to say, Steve's being fairly modest because the content that he delivers to his students at the university is mind-blowingly, extraordinarily deep, complex. We're talking level 7 here, master's level kind of stuff. It really is the bee's knees. And the videos that he's done, I mean, I've watched them and they're brilliant. They really, really are. And I wish I'd had that kind of, I guess, coaching and support when I started the college and my own coaching practice, some 25 years ago for the college, 30 years ago for my coaching practice. But I didn't, I was really, because there was nothing like that around. Certainly there was no big internet. I mean, I'm pre-internet. That's how old I am. Which is unfortunate in many ways, because I sometimes think, what are you talking about? But never mind. But of course, the thing is, it's you guys who've asked for this, and so Steve and I are responding to a need, just like the supervision thing with the good doctor. And if you haven't filled in your questionnaire, please do that. So Steve got some slides. He's just going to go through them, and then we're going to do a bit of Q&A, and then we'll do our normal giveaway. Now, if you're going to be listening to this on the podcast, what I'll do is I'll put a link to the slides so you'll be able to download them. Okay, Steve, I think you should be, by just pressing your arrows, be able to move backwards and forwards on your slides. If not, just tell me to do it and I'll do it.
Okay, so as Tony said, there's a distinction to be made. So there's two things really. The first thing is we've created this set of videos, so that exists already. It's already out there, and it's all part of the Coaches Growth Club. And this is what we're going to talk about next. So in support and to reinforce that help. So if you really urgently need help, the videos are for you. If you're willing to wait a little bit longer, this is what's coming next. So I think I'm going to need your help with the arrows.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So why did we come up with this idea? Well, any of you that have already started on your journey of setting up a business will know that it's not easy, particularly in the digital landscape that we live in now. So maybe some of these points resonate with you, or maybe just one of them does. If you've never run a business before, knowing where to start is really, can be quite baffling sometimes. It can all seem a little bit overwhelming, but when you actually get stuck into it, there's possibly a limited amount of experience that you might have had in trying to present yourself out to the world, and then realizing that there's 5.5 billion people online every day, and thinking, gosh, how do I get noticed? It's incredibly difficult. So what we did was start to think, well, how can we really just sort of support this? And if you're part of UKCPD, it's a lovely community to be part of, right? So you could be lucky enough to be within a group that stays friends now, which is certainly the case for my group that I went through. So there is some support there, but we wanted something that was a bit more robust, a bit more suitable for everybody as well. So whether you've been in the game a little bit longer or whether you're just starting out. So let's go to the next slide, please, Tony. So what we've come up with is it's going to be an element of practical support. So we're talking more learning the fundamentals, and don't be put off by the fact, okay, so yes, I do teach at a university everywhere from year 1 to masters, but this is design. This isn't just regurgitating them same lesson plans to you guys. So don't start thinking it's all going to be very academic. It's not. The whole point of what I did with these videos in particular is to just try to think of it, what's useful to you, and really just getting away from this sort of get rich quick, you can start a 10 grand business in 30 minutes nonsense that you see on social media. So it's very much about actually getting really into the practical support that gets you from point A to point B. So we're going to support that with not just me, although I'm probably going to be leading the charge with a lot of the marketing stuff, understandably, but certainly drawing on Tony's knowledge and his expertise in scaling a business. Like, I mean, I'm not at that level. Tony's been in the game for 25 years. There's no way I can teach you that from lived experience in the same way that he can. And there's lots of other different people that we're going to draw on to use their experience to learn from too. So can we have the next slide, please, Tony?
Yeah, so before we got the one thing I want to add here is that it is very, very practical. All gobbledygook, like, blah, 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 marketing speak. We think, yeah, it's all very exciting, but what the hell does it mean? It's not that. And, Steve and I spent a long time backwards and forwards about, what would work, what's real. And it's not this get rich quick stuff, snake oil. We're not into that. And Steve said we'll have other people coming along to present as well. I've already got some lined up who are really, really keen to come and share their knowledge and to support you guys in building your practice.
So to make some sense of it, I've broken down a lot of different ideas and kind of brought them into these 3 main pillars. So the way we'll look at it is like the business operations and scaling. So how to actually get established in the first place. That may or may not be something that you've already addressed, but that's certainly going to be useful to you if it isn't. And then we're going to be talking about marketing fundamentals. So just really understanding the basics of what you need to communicate your business, your offer, and to make sure that it resonates with your target audience. So really getting into the weeds about what's your value proposition, how do you add value to the world, and how do you start to put all those things into shape to be able to go and deliver your message with clarity and punch. And then the final pillar is this digital marketing mastery. So there is a ton. I mean, it's so hard. I'm trying to stay at the front end of all this, and it's constantly we're in an exciting era of technological revolution. It's going great guns, like with AI and automation. It's so hard to keep up, and that's not to consider just taking one thing on its own, like social media. Then you take that and go, well, okay, I understand the basics of social media, but then you start to go, well, actually each platform has its own particular quirks and needs and wants and content. So what the idea of this is really trying to break it all down to kind of go, look, that's all great, you don't need that, you don't need this, let's focus on the thing that makes you comfortable, the thing that you can go and deliver on and move forward with that. So the digital marketing mastery, it's not about having to master the whole thing, it's just about finding what works for you that you can go and implement and get the job done.
Yeah, very good.
So just taking that to a bit more detail. So as I mentioned, it's going to be very much about coming up with the basics. So not into, we haven't got to go and sell this to, well, maybe you have got to go and sell it to the bank, but let's just say we can do this organically. So I like to work as much as I can with free tools, and I believe that you can, it's one of the big challenges is like, can you scrape by on the bare minimum, keep those costs low? That was always the challenge for me, set up in a business for myself, but with those really, really low overheads, and where it's something that I can be the driving force behind. So creating a business plan doesn't have to be as scary as it sounds. It can just be getting some, like what Tony was saying earlier, getting that clarity down on paper so that you know where you're going to. Because a lot of the time people have got, actually, maybe they've got less ambition than you might expect, and actually that's going to have a massive impact in terms of what your marketing and digital marketing strategy might look like. So just be realistic about what you actually want. It doesn't have to be $100 grand a year business. It could just be that little lifestyle business that affords you a holiday every year. That's absolutely fine, but getting that bit right is really important. And then getting all the market research done, that's an integral part of setting your stall out and trying to understand, is this actually likely to have the impact I'm looking for, and particularly in a marketplace that can be quite saturated at times. So then also, we touched on the scaling of the business, but also just the legal aspects to it as well. Just making sure that everything is correct, to put yourself out there to look as professional as possible. To have all the me and Tony were talking about it the other day. He cited a lot of his early success to the fact that he ended up becoming VAT registered early on, which gained credibility, and being insured gained credibility when trying to get bigger clients. So that type of thing, plus all the legal stuff in terms of a digital standpoint, in terms of handling people's data, GDPR, that kind of thing. And then this bit about sustainable coaching business, well, that's just about making sure that the wheels don't fall off after 6 months because you were running in one direction and actually you didn't set up a marketing plan that was going to keep feeding more and more clients through, and then you kind of lose heart because things aren't working out the way you'd hope them to be. So just trying to put something there robust that you're comfortable with, that makes sense for your end goal and to what you can actually achieve given the amount of time available to go and do it.
Yeah. So just to add to that, we're going to have lots of legal templates that you're going to be able to use as well and rebrand as your own if you so wish, and lots and lots of advice from people who actually know what they're talking about. And again, I'm lucky that because of my clients, some of them are willing to come along and give some of their time to the group. So there's some very, very, very good stuff coming your way next year.
So the marketing fundamentals, this is, again, these are subjects that are all touched on within the set of videos as well. So trying to get to grips with who you're actually speaking to. As mentioned before, 5.5 billion people online. If you don't know who you're trying to direct your communication to, good luck to you, because you're going to struggle to find the corners of the internet that those people are potentially hanging out. So understanding that is a really critical point. And this notion of finding your niche, whether you like that idea or you don't, the reason why it's important is for that very fact. So not only understanding what your ideal client wants and how to emotionally connect with their outcomes so you can resonate in terms of communication, but it's also being but you don't have to get wedded to anything. You're welded to it for life. But in terms of like digital communication, it's really important to be able to be very precise in where you're going. Okay, so just to put a very brief example on, you can have a website, but you can have very niche driven blog posts. That's going to find that ideal client. You might have several of them after a period of time. So about crafting a compelling brand story, this is again, it goes into more detail about, I'm a big advocate of storytelling, not only in terms of how to get your message across, but also how to present yourself as well. And this goes back to that mindset issue of putting yourself in the center, into the spotlight of your business. So what I like to do is try to spin that round 180. So you become the guide within the movie script, and your client becomes the hero. So once you've got all those basics, you can really start to put together a very strong identity, which is going to help resonate in terms of your communication, your message out there. So it's really just, it's understanding all the basics of marketing, putting it all together. So you've got a lot of confidence going forward. So you've now got the business plan. You understand where you're heading. Now you understand better how to market yourself. The next step is, okay, well, how do I go and actually implement that? And that kind of leads us on to the next slide. So great, I've got all this stuff in place. Now what do I do with it? So some people are big fans of social media. I'll be really honest, I can't stand it, but I have to. It's not to say I have to be best friends with social media, but I have to dance with it because there's a massive opportunity there. But I also advocate for the fact you don't need to at all. And I would say there's many channels, marketing channels that can be utilized, that you can circumnavigate social media to a degree. So there's options there for everybody, but it's understanding what those options are, and then being very, very precise and very intentional in terms of what your digital marketing plan is going to be. Because the trouble is, what happens is you start on a plan and then you get very distracted because there's all these other opportunities, and you're like a kid in a sweet shop. You want to grab at everything because it's all an opportunity. But the truth is, the more you dilute yourself, the harder it is to actually create impact. So we're going to go into deep dives in terms of expertise with each platform, whatever suits you best, whether it's blog writing or LinkedIn or Pinterest, whatever it might be. There's going to be some expertise there to help improve your performance within it. So getting that strategy right is really important. Getting all those techniques to grow. We can get into the more technical side of SEO. I love SEO. Don't know why, but I do. And that's really about the science of getting found online. So whether it's even in your social media posts or whether it's on your website, it's about those keywords. It's about all the technical side of it too. It can be bamboozling when you start to confront yourself with it, but actually you can break it down to become much more manageable and bite-sized. But it's incredibly important, and it's changing all the time with AI. So AI is now influencing a lot of search results, and it's only going to get stronger. So there's lots of stuff around making your content more conversational, because guess what? In the not too distant future, you're going to have an AI bot that you're going to be talking to rather than typing into Google. And that AI bot is not going to be presenting you with a website. He's going to be telling you about that website. And so conversational language is going to be valued more, because it's going to sound better when an artificial intelligence bot, agent, assistant, whatever you want to call them, is communicating with you. So, and then the final piece is really just making the most of your website. Most of us are going to have a website. You don't have to. There are ways around that. We can also discuss those too. But getting the best out of your website is also something we can do, or even helping you make the website. So there's lots within digital marketing, and hopefully that gives you a little bit of an overview of some of it, not to be too overwhelmed by it. We can break down that overwhelm and give you something that you can go out and make a meaningful change with. So how are we going to do it? Lots of different ways, because it's that whole thing, people learn better in different kind of mediums. So I really enjoyed on the course the community aspect. I love doing the little breakout sessions and the conversations and the chats we had. So there'll be group work. There'll be clinics where you can, maybe showcase something you've done for better or worse to discuss within the group. People can learn from, people's mistakes and failures as well as they can from their successes. So being able to bring that through, studying case studies, model success. There'll be stuff where we can bring in people that have, been particularly successful on a particular platform, and this is where that the 3 T's, the tips, techniques, and tactics comes into play. There'll be, I want to get a bit of gamification going on as well. So maybe if we've got a set of fundamentals lessons, the 101s, marketing 101, or whatever it might be, maybe you can earn some rewards from getting all the badges on that. So there'll be that kind of thing, but basically trying to create some sort of interest and some Q&A. But there'd also be this, as Tony touched on as well, some templates and resources we've started to populate into a library. So if you're at a different pace to everybody else, you might be able to go back there and catch up, or kind of work in your own speed as well. So in essence, that's kind of how we'll be delivering it, through some evening sessions, maybe some weekend stuff that'll be a bit longer, but we're still formulating some of those ideas now. So I think that'll take us on to the next slide, Tony, unless you got anything to add on that one. So
well, I will add. So you've all sort of sat through this presentation now, and if you think, oh, this is really, really great, and it is, but if you think, but what about, and you think there's something missing, or you want us to add something in, email me, send me the message, and then Steve and I will look at it and see if it's a practical thing that we can do.
So, as said before, there's two separate things here. Today is the launch of the online training videos. So there's 6 videos with yours truly doing a lot of interesting hand actions, but basically explaining to you with the use of some really, I would say, I've thought about these a lot in terms of activities, so it's very much, don't be fooled by the length of the video. Some of them they range sort of like 10 to 15 minutes, but there's lots of stop the video, do an activity, do an exercise, little workshops to do. So there's actually a hell of a lot of stuff in there in total. And if you did it properly, it would take you a long time. But the thing is, some of you might work better that way. Some of you might work better with that one-to-one help. So the videos are there. You can get going with those straight away. What we're talking about, or I've just been talking about through that short presentation, is about this Coaches Growth Club. So this is going to be the membership subscription where you can be part of the ongoing development of your business through all these workshops and all that learning opportunity that's there available to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And very, very excited because, been asked for it so many times, and kept saying, yeah, and spoken to so many different people. And in fact, some of those people we've spoken to, we will have us on as guests. But we thought we'd start off very, very simply in-house. And as Steve is the guru, we thought we would, work with him. Now, special offer before we get to anything else. That code Y3DYCF CXF, and we'll put it in the Be Inspired group so you can get it. But you'll be able to save yourself 35 quid off the course. Now it's open to all members, so that's pretty exciting, and that saves you quite a few quid. And as we say, we're going to be launching this program in January. I haven't got an exact date yet, or an exact costings, or anything like that yet. We've got to work that out. We're going to make sure that it's fair to you guys, but also fair to Steve in particular, because of the amount of effort that he's already put in and he's going to be putting in to support you through the process. Now, if you need to speak to Steve one-to-one, because he obviously works with other people himself outside of the college, that's his email address. And again, I'll put that in the comments when we publish the thing tomorrow. Now, I think that's the end of those slides. So we've just got a few questions, Steve. If you've got a question for Steve, now's a good time. We've got a little bit of time to do questions. So Ian, who did the course with us 20 years ago, wow, yes, time does fly by. His question here is, what are your thoughts on persuasive copywriting in relation to your marketing plan?
It depends on how persuasive you're trying to be. So obviously you want to be persuasive, but for me, I'm an advocate of really trying to get into the headspace of your ideal client, which is why I think it's so important, and actually defines a lot of how you create your content and how you present yourself. So getting to understand what their needs are, what they're trying to get as an outcome, and then trying to connect emotionally with that. Because what you're really doing is so I say this before, if you're a weight loss coach, you're not really selling a diet, you're selling a great looking, the feeling of looking in a mirror and feeling fantastic. It's being excited to go to the beach because you're feeling so good about yourself. You're selling that. That's the bit that you're trying to communicate with your potential clients. So that's the way I look at being persuasive with any kind of content or copywriting. But there is a lot out there. There's different ways of doing it. At the moment, there's massive surge in terms of people automating and using AI. And even though people say, there's ones that do it better than others, but to be quite honest with you, you can't get it to that. There's just that little spark that you can tell the difference by. And so I'd say you can use that as a support, a structural support for what your copywriting should be. But ultimately, you need to put your own blueprint on there. You need to put your own little secret sauce in there that says it's you. Because if you're, particularly in a coaching business, you're really putting yourself at the forefront of that conduit from I'm not feeling great about myself to I want to look great on the beach. Well, you're the bit that you're the person that takes them from point A to point B. So for me, that is that's important to be authentic in terms of your approach.
Yeah, I agree. And we've all seen those things online where, do this boot camp over a weekend and we'll sort of somehow guarantee that you'll be a billionaire in, 6 weeks after that. I mean, I'm maybe exaggerating for effect, but we've all seen that kind of stuff. And we know it's snake oil. And we're not going to suggest you do that, because actually that comes back and bites you, because your credibility flies out the window, because obviously that's not true. You won't be a millionaire in 6 weeks. Unless you win the lottery, of course, then possibly. But what are the chances of that? So, any other questions? Please do put them in the comments, and we'll run the giveaway in a second. Aren't you selling psychology? Well, it depends on what I'm not sure I understand the question. Steve, did you have a comment on that?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from there, Ian, but you could say yes, but that kind of stands to reason. So let's just say the basic of selling something to somebody. So why does somebody buy something from you? They buy from you because they like you. They buy from you because they trust you. And so you could say, well, that's psychology. So I've gone to meet somebody. We've had a connection on whatever level. You've liked the product that I'm offering you. You think that it's a fair value exchange, and therefore, okay, it's possible that if they absolutely despised you, they'd still buy it if they really wanted the product. But in general, people want to buy from people they like and they trust.
People buy people.
You could also relate that to being psychology. This is really just about understanding without being so not about being too convoluted with it, but it's just about being empathetic with your potential client. And the more you empathize with somebody, the more you can connect with them. That's kind of one of the principles of being a good coach and creating rapport. It's the same thing. You're just creating rapport, and you've got the opportunity to engineer that rapport a little bit more in advance, because you know who you want to go and find and who you want to appeal to. So you try to get into their headspace a little bit better.
So I've got one more question, and then we'll run the giveaway. How much should you niche down from Tarina?
Well, there's no exact way of answering that question without getting into the specifics. So how do you define niching down? The steps, you could say, okay, 2 to 3 steps, but it's fairly meaningless. I'd say, I think the best way to do it is to get your starting point, maybe take it down a level or two in terms of, okay, let's take the weight loss one. I want to be a weight loss coach. Okay, well, what kind of people do you think you might appeal to? So, okay, I worked within business, so maybe I'm thinking I'd probably relate better to business people. Okay, so within the business world, who would be looking for a weight loss coach? Okay, well then let's take it down to, okay, there might be startup founders, there could be I don't know, HR managers. There could be
So
people
what
working
you're saying,
in your
Steve,
whatever.
so it's classic chunking. Excuse me, chunking down in the meta model. It's chunking down, down, and down. You know, transport car, red, stripy, the year. It's chunking it down to as much as seems a reasonable possibility that avatar, to use the lingo, represents a group of people.
Yeah, and obviously you want that group of people that you think that you can add value to, that you think your message will resonate with, and that they've actually got the right available income to be able to buy your product. So they need to understand your value. You need to understand what their needs are, and if that's the top level, and you've got a massive amount of resource to go and target that niche, you don't really need to niche down. The reason why we niche down is because there's an awful lot of people out there, and there's an awful lot of coaches out there, and by being precise about that, that group of people that you're trying to target just increases your chances of finding them and communicating with them, rather than just talking to thin air.
Okay, so I'm going to run the thing, but you can be thinking about the answer to this question from Wendy. How do you market yourself when you're starting out without any testimonials? Have a think about that. So I'm going to run the draw now because we're going to be running over time, and I like to stick to the rules that we set ourselves way back when. So if you haven't put BIG in the comments, you're not going to get anything. So I'm going to run it now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoops. I need to share the screen, don't I? I almost forgot to do that. Present, share screen, giveaway, share, and draw. Pella, okay. Pella, now, Pella, stay, don't go anywhere. And you can let me know if I stop sharing. Pella, I can't remember what course. I know you're a college member. Can you just let me know, is it the free course that you'd like or the books? If you can just put it in the comments now, then I know not to send you the wrong thing, as it were. So you can do that now. So while you're doing that, Steve, did you have a sort of a comment about that question?
Yeah, so Wendy's asked, how do you market yourself when you're starting out without any testimonials? So I would say you could definitely get some testimonials by doing some pro bono work. So even if it's volunteering, you could look at your social proof as well. You could reach out to people that you've worked with in the past that maybe could advocate for you in the meantime whilst you're trying to grow your practice. But I think the best way really is just to in terms of practice, is just to do pro bono work, help people out where you can, and find out whether you can get a review off the back of it.
Yeah, sounds good, like good advice to me. Pella, I've not noticed that you're responding to my question. Can you let me know what it is you actually want? And then I'll be able to send it to you. If not, I'll email you tomorrow. Okay, we're going to wrap up because we're way over time already, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. But first of all, I want to say thank you for everybody who came along live. Obviously, if you're watching the video, we'll put the discount code in the thing tomorrow, so we'll be able to get that as well. And trust me, you will love the course. It is fantastic, and lots more information will come on the Coaches Club in the very, 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 very near future. So we're really, really looking forward to that. Big thank you to Steve for giving up his time, because he's an hour in front. So it's past his bedtime, I'm sure, by now. I'll put the kids to bed at least, surely. So we really thank him for giving up his time. And guys, I really, really appreciate you all coming along this evening. Thank you very, very much. There's a few people saying here, thank you. Wendy saying thanks, Steve. Shelley saying thanks. Ian saying great presentation. Michelle saying thank you so much. Peter, you've still not told me what you actually want. So I'm going to go and imagine I will chase you up tomorrow as you don't appear to be listening. What's going on? This is crazy. Okay, guys, have a great evening. Luke saying thanks. Jan saying thanks. Michelle saying thanks so much. So it's like you're a hit. You're famous, Steve. Look at this.
Well, thanks everyone for dropping by. It's been it's a shame we couldn't talk properly, but yeah,
We will do in the future.
and pick up the conversation wherever you can find me.
Wherever you can find me. We'll put all the links in the correspondence tomorrow. Alrighty, guys, we've got to go. Take care of yourselves, and I will catch you guys in the fullness of time. Cheers for now. Bye bye.